episode, we will look at Chainlink versus the dollar as well, but we'll start off looking at it versus the Bitcoin prices, and we can see here that this triangle, which is not really, very good triangle, is potentially being broken out of at the minute, potentially, and I'd hesitate to say that though, as you can tell in my voice. I'm not sure if we'll actually see this coming in and sitting in a higher low down here, pardon me, at the 236 Fibonacci retracement, which is over there. We talked about numerous times, but that could happen, and that's to be taken into account and to be aware of that. And we could see some sort of breakout, which brings us up and continuing on with higher highs, etc., and going up past the 50% retrace area, where we've come as far as so far, but no further. Looking then thereafter towards the 618 up there at 46,509 satoshis or so, I think. But yes, anyway, as I say, this triangle here isn't necessarily, fantastic, and I'm just going to get rid of it for now because I don't want the bias that imposes on us when we're looking at the charts. And instead we can look here and see, look, the prices have moved below the 236 Fibonacci. They've come quite close, maybe you could say close enough to the 382, not really necessarily, but you could maybe make the argument. And you can see here in the 24-hour time frame that they're being supported by the 21 and 55 EMA. And what we want to see happening is all going to boil out over the, we want to see the 21 cross above the 55 EMA and the prices to trend towards the upside, but we can see there's this general sideways feeling just at the minute as part of this overall upward trend that we've had since the 7th of May. So let's just see if this will continue or not. In terms of looking at the highs here, this high versus this high, and the RSI, stochastics, and the MACD, they're not divergent, so you could expect that to continue up. Part of the reason why I'm slightly hesitant to say that we're going to go down to this 236 here, that is a possibility. I would be looking instead perhaps to just the 382. If first off, if we can crack that there, then we'll go down to the 236, quite possibly over here, and the 50% retrace on this particular Fibonacci, and of course, like I say, the 236 of this one as well. So that's the dynamic there towards the downside, and towards the upside we have the 50 simple moving average up above our heads there. That would be where the previous high is. There could be profit taken just as part of this overall higher highs, higher lows idea at 45,000 or so, where we have the 50% retrace at. I would prefer to see the prices go up above there, and of course, as we know as well, a move from the 50% as we had there going down below the 382 does create a valid Fibonacci towards the downside. If I'm going to be bearish on this at the minute, I'd look towards 40,000 satoshis where this line is here, and that would actually salvage this in terms of just simply having low, higher low, and then higher low, and higher high, and thereafter potentially you could come back up and go for this 618 thereafter on that one. But we'll have to see how that pans out. Thanks so much for sticking with me through this as we move on to the dollar prices. Before we go, let's just hope that this neutral line on the RSI and the moving average manage to actually act as support for us in general here. Okay. Now then, dollar prices. Thanks so much for sticking through that. So you can see there's this broadening ascending structure here overall, which isn't a particularly bullish thing in general. And we also have as well this descending broadening structure in terms of the RSI, which you could consider to be bullish as well. But generally speaking, we've kind of been consolidating in this area, with this lower or consolidating or whatever. The general concept of just sideways really. And what we want to see happen in terms of the price action is for it to go higher than not only $4, but $4.10, so that we don't get a head and shoulders happening just here on this price action and in general. If we look to the volume down below, you can see there is this high here, diminishing volume throughout, with a bit of a peak attached where the head is, then more diminishing volume. So should the prices come up to here, go down and break down past, well, that wouldn't necessarily be the neckline just there, but perhaps a slanted neckline around, that's a bit sloppy, but obviously in around this area, then we could be looking down the way for a measured move. Now, if we just borrow this measuring stick from other things and stick it in here and say, hey, where would that take us? Well, you can see it would take us all the way down to 326. That's not much of a coincidence that this fits in various places, this measuring stick. But the big line for us in terms of support is 370. Breaking that is going to be quite bearish if that happens. The interim time, 385 is the sort of the support line we want to see being held, and the targets towards the top side, $4.10. At the very least, you know, moving up above $4, but $4.10, so you can sort of release the burden of a potential head and shoulders movement here. It's maybe worth pointing out as well that there's this general trend line towards this, like this, which is being respected with the chart. And you could also then say that as you look towards this here, you know, that there's actually a rising wedge on the go, you know, looking at this area, and we'll have to keep our eye out for things like bearish divergence and whatnot in around these areas, or indeed a head and shoulders pattern or something to that effect, so that we can know where the prices potentially could be going and manage our risk accordingly. But in the meantime, it's quite easy to see the 370 area, the 385 area, and then of course towards the top side, 420 blaze it is where the target really has to be for us to be able to say that there's a bullish continuation of this overall upward movement without it actually being part of this rising wedge structure, and we can maybe take this away, breaking 420 and going towards the top side. Actually, you know, past the whole, you know, you don't want to get the manana effect and be too high to do anything at that point. You want to go up past 420 up to 430, so you can say that this wedge really isn't a thing currently. But you know, we'll have to cross those bridges when we come to them. Thanks so much for tuning in. I never give people the exact direction that the trades are going in. Of course, I'm an active, proactive, professional trader. I do this every day in order to make my living. Obviously, I make no money from YouTube. This is not a monetized channel or whatever else. But I don't, and you may be thinking, well, why don't you just give me targets and all the rest of it? I mean, I've kind of effectively given you targets, but and key areas for managing risk, and I'm okay with doing that, but I'll never tell people exactly how to trade. For one, I'm not a financial advisor, none of this is financial advice, and for two, of course, I really want people to become self-sufficient. The greatest tool that you can have as a trader is being able to be self-reliant and iteratively improve upon your trading. So if you ever wonder, why is Rocky not just telling me exactly where to put my trade in at, where to put my stop loss in at, where to put my take profit at, etc., etc., it's because I'm not going to do that. You have to become self-reliant, and when you do that, you'll be a far more confident and reliable trader for yourself, and your life will be so much better. And of course, as well, you can then contribute to the overall success of the community in general, because there's 690 people so far subscribed to the channel, and if everybody is becoming a self-reliant trader, then just think how powerful this community will be in terms of self-management and self-advice compared to other traders out there, communities where a lot of the people in there are relying on signals from other members instead. A self-reliant community which operates together will be much better. Overall, thank you so much for joining in. Thanks for watching through to now. I hugely appreciate it if you manage to stick through to now, massively. And if you've not subscribed and you're still watching this point in the video, please just hit that subscribe button. We're trying to grow the channel here overall, and I really appreciate it. So catch you in the next episode.